Good morning. Right now it is 9:06 a.m. on a Thursday. I'm excited. Feel free to share this video out. Let me know, what do you have going on today? We're going to be talking to Blake. We're going to be talking to Freedom Hawk. He also has one of his coworkers here as well. We're going to be sharing everything that they have going on. And there's a lot. There's always a lot going on. Blake is one of maybe the busiest person I know. I always see him out hustling. He's always out there working, getting deals done, and making connections. And that's what it's all about.
Oh, that's definitely what it's about, man.
What's up, man? How's it going?
It's been a while.
It has.
Yeah.
You been good?
I've been great, man. I've been blessed. God's been good. Business has been good. It's been very good, man.
All right. Hey, I'm going to ask y'all both to scoot up just a little bit before we go on the FM, and then feel free to adjust your mic so that way you're good. And can you introduce, what's your name?
Brandon.
Brandon.
Yes.
And you're working with Blake now?
I am.
A part of the Freedom Hawk team, right?
Finally, yes.
All right.
Man.
That's cool. That's cool. So we got Brandon. We got Blake. We're going to be learning about everything. I got about 10 seconds, and we are going to go on the FM as well. So if you're watching on Facebook, share. Let me know what you got going on today. It's Thursday. We're going to see what we can get accomplished today. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it's 9:07 a.m. on a beautiful Thursday. We're broadcasting live from Lamarck, Texas. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. I'm Gardy. I got a couple guests here in studio with Freedom Hawk. The Freedom Hawk team is here. They have landed in Galveston County. I'm going to let them introduce themselves and then kind of share what they have going on here, going on today.
Awesome, man. So my name is Blake. I'm the owner of Freedom Hawk. We are a real estate investment company, and we help people solve their real estate problems, and we do it fast, and we do it easy, and we do it simple.
That's what it's all about. And Brandon, how long have you been on the team now?
I'm recently added on to the team. I'm Blake's acquisitions manager for Freedom Walk. So
Awesome.
Yeah, as he mentioned, like I said, we're all about doing deals and doing it the right way and get it done quick.
Yeah, whenever you mention like solving people's problems, because there's always a problem, and I feel like if you have the solution, people are going to come to you to fix the problems. It doesn't matter if you find a problem, you can potentially start a business. Pretty much find a problem. Man. It's the solution.
Well, that's what this country is built on, man. Mm-hmm. Entrepreneurship, capitalism. You got a problem, you create a service that fills that need, and everyone's happy.
Yeah. Do you think there's always a better way to do things?
Always.
And then you just got to find it.
I just don't know what it is. Yeah. I just don't know what it is. Yeah.
That's the trick.
Yeah.
It's finding the best way to do it in the easiest amount of time, or making life a little bit easier. I look at like the can opener. It maybe hasn't changed, but is there a better can opener out there?
Oh, there has to be one.
There is,
mine.
And it's
there
coming.
Has to be.
By 2030, we're gonna have it. I don't know. Yeah.
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
I need a new one.
Yeah, man.
My wife, she grew up using the electric can opener, and for me, I was like, this is worse.
There's a little
Yeah, it takes up. And for me, the issue is, okay, it takes up part of the counter. I got to plug it in to have electricity. Yeah. What if there's an issue? Because I've handed her a normal one, and she's like, what am I supposed to do with it?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. So if you're working out on a new invention, come up with a can opener, something. Yeah. I don't know.
We need it.
Give me better grips for mine.
Yeah,
I got a hand.
Yeah.
Hey, so you've been staying busy, and I see you everywhere. Posting on social media, getting deals done, not just in our area, sometimes even out of state. You got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, man. So we've been just very fortunate. We did 2 deals in Louisiana last month that came from signs we put out in Houston, which was, look, man, I sometimes things just roll that way, and we put some signs out in Houston. We got calls from homeowners that live in Houston, but their houses are in Louisiana, both in the same month. And so we were able to help them out. And
they came to you with the problem.
They did.
I got a house and no one's in it, right?
Correct. Yeah. One of them was fire damaged, and the other one was unfortunately a divorce, so they had to sell the property, and we helped both parties, and it was good, man.
All right. Yeah. So some Louisiana deals. Is there some more stuff, potentially on the horizon? I feel like word of mouth and referrals is probably one of the big ways that you get stuff done. It
is, man. I mean, because it automatically builds that trust factor. So once someone trusts you and they know you, they refer you, then it actually speeds up the transaction, because you don't have to get past that barrier of, who is this guy? What's he about? Word of mouth is absolutely crucial for sure.
All right. And Brandon, how did you two meet? How did you meet Blake?
Oh man, Blake and I have known each other from years.
Yeah,
from
man.
the gym or Ashley?
The gym
Worked at a
and
couple
yeah,
places.
so the gym and Ashley Furniture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We slinging them furniture, man.
Yeah. Those sofas.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I know Ashley Furniture. I believe there's a women's conference that's taking place over in the Bay Area, Houston area, right here, and Ashley Furniture, I believe, is one of the sponsors. So they always have some cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Very
man,
cool.
Ashley, I learned a lot of good things working there, man.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some good people there.
Good stuff.
Yeah, being in sales, whenever it comes to that area, how does that relate to the bigger picture? Because you can sell like, hey, I can sell this piece of furniture, I can sell, a deal, I can sell insurance, and then I can sell
It's all
something
about
bigger.
conversation, man. Just having conversations, to listen to what people have to say. It's as simple as that. Show common respect.
Yeah.
Kind of just hearing people out,
Yeah.
and finding, like I said, solution to whatever their issue is or whatever it is they're looking for.
Right.
Our situations with Freedom Hawk is deals. You know what I mean? Sometimes people get in situations where they're behind on their mortgage or they got a house that out of nowhere from a relative or something
Yep.
they don't want to deal with. So they'll contact us like, hey, offer me a deal, and then a week later, here they are with a check in their pocket. So
Wow. Yep.
It's a win-win for everyone.
And it's quick. That's
Yeah.
the benefit,
Oh,
right, of going
sure.
with Freedom Hawk.
Yeah,
We just
yeah.
had to turn around, 4 or 5 days?
Yeah.
That's
No,
easy.
literally. Yeah,
Yeah.
we last Thursday, so he came on board Monday, September 30th. He contracts a deal on the third day of being with us.
Really?
Yeah, in Pasadena, and we met the seller at the property. We put her under contract, and we're closing on that house tomorrow. So he's gonna have his check in his hand tomorrow, and then we're gonna work on helping the tenant who's there find a new place. Again, she's actually wanting to move. But sometimes in these situations, you have to kind of initiate that because people, they get complacent, and she's been wanting to move for a while. She's an elderly lady,
Yeah.
but she didn't know how to go about that. So we're going to help her with that process. So,
By helping, Blake actually came out of his own pocket and gave her $500 for moving costs.
Yeah.
To help her get moving. So, like I said, we're also about doing business, but mainly we're also about compassion as well.
Well, I was
Yeah.
going to say, because you don't have to, not obligated to, hey, we'll help you find a new spot.
No.
And definitely not obligated to, here, let me help you with the moving.
right.
Why? Why is that something that you are doing?
Well, because here's the thing. At the end of the day, on a practical level, you want everybody to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you want to make sure all parties are
Taken care of.
in agreement with what's going on. If not, it's just going to be a sticky situation. But then on a higher level, man, you just want to put out that energy of win-win, where everybody is actually going to be in a better place after the transaction's done. You don't want it to be where someone feels like I got it's negative or something like that. So in her situation, she's an elderly lady. We talked to her son. The son's been telling us she's been wanting to move for a while, but what is she going to do, right? She didn't know how to go about that. So we're going to help her with that process. The house needs a lot of work, so we're going to fix it up, put it back on the market, and then so for when a new family comes in, it's going to be a brand new house.
Help her with movers. So
Yeah.
We've done a good.
Yeah, and is that the property in Pasadena that you mentioned?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, wow. And so you are open to deals anywhere,
Yep.
literally anywhere.
Anywhere.
You'll
So
make
we're
it
in San
happen.
Antonio now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, we started in San Antonio the last week, so.
And how do you? Okay, so here's the question I have. Whenever you decide to go to an area that's outside of here, right?
Yes.
Do you just like literally go drop signs, knock on doors, meet people, just talk?
Yeah. Well, we have a call center, so we reach out to people directly through phone. And then
Phone, email, word of mouth.
Yeah, phone, email, word of mouth,
Facebook.
social media, and then once we get a deal, and maybe if it's in San Antonio, we have partnerships over there that will be able to help us with that transaction. So it's definitely not just a solo job here. It's not a one-man show.
No,
we
not
have
at all.
a lot of people that help us.
As you mentioned, like I said, people word of mouth is, like I said, a big part. I mean, it's as simple as driving down the street and seeing a house with a tarp on it. You call up me, call up Blake, and be like, hey, there's this house that's kind of in bad shape. Those are the type of deals we would swing in with our investor. fix it up, and
Yeah.
everybody would win in a situation like
Yeah.
that. It would be a total loss.
And that'll be a bit of research on your part, I suppose. Just be
Yeah.
like, okay, who owns this house? And then you got to track them down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
Play
ask,
detective for a little bit.
Yeah. You're part FBI agent
Right.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's as easy as talking to the next door neighbor.
Exactly.
Hey, how long has this house been like this? Does
Yeah.
the owner still live there? How long you see him? Do you have contact with him? Sometimes it's not as hard as you would think.
okay.
Yeah.
This reminds me. So my parents and my sister live in Lamarck. They live on the same street across from each other. And one of the people there recently had passed away. And so he has a brother that lives really far away. And the house could be in better shape, right?
Probably an eyesore for the neighborhood.
Yeah, it is, but the outside looks okay. I feel like it was like mainly the inside. And
Yeah.
so he was checking it out and seeing, hey, what do I need to do? And it turns out, I think that guy owned multiple houses, all different places, and because just sitting on them, which is kind of a good thing to do, but not
Right.
if they're in bad shape. And then he's not here anymore.
Yeah, and a lot of people, sometimes when I have these conversations, they don't really understand why. I don't get it. I don't understand what. Well, listen, not everybody has a house or a situation that is, a traditional in the box situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you an example. We just did a deal in Clute, Texas, and we're closing on that next week. The people live in Louisiana. They want to sell their property. They're about to hit retirement. They owe $25,000 on the property. We agreed on $37,000, okay, for a purchase price. Well, at the end of the day, if we pay $37,000, they're going to walk away with about $12,000 in their pocket.
Yeah.
But what we did is we came up with a creative solution. So we're gonna pay them $12,000, and we're gonna take over their note, pay their monthly note for them. That's gonna be credited to their credit. So actually, we're gonna help their credit, and then just give them $12,000 directly, and they're gonna deed over the property to us.
And then they're out. They're out.
They're out.
Yeah.
That's it.
And everybody wins.
Everybody wins, man. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
so that helps your credit. You get the cash,
Yep.
and then you don't have to worry about making the
Exactly.
payments.
There's so many creative ways to do this. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Wow.
People sometimes are sitting at the house just kind of just drowning in this debt and just sorrow and just not
Yeah,
knowing where to
exactly,
go.
yeah.
Like how to get out, even if there's a way out. There's ways out. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
There are ways out that without you having to just give up everything and walk away with a complete loss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's what people are worried about. I've been in this house for 5 years. I've been in this house for 10 years. I've been in this house for my whole life, 40 years. I'm about to lose it over something silly, an injury, whatever the
Yep.
case may be. You don't have to leave. You don't have to do that.
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
don't
and
have to
that's
you
the
don't have to walk away
alternative.
with nothing.
right. Yeah, walking away with nothing, and then you get a hit on your credit or file bankruptcy,
Yep.
and it's a tough situation.
Yeah.
And then you can come back from that. I think
Right.
a lot of
You
people
can,
have.
yeah.
Oh, 100%.
But if
you can
prevent it,
avoid it, avoid
Why
it.
wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah, avoid it.
You definitely want to.
Yeah.
what's also, and it's maybe a weird question to ask, but the alternative to using your services.
Yeah.
What's the
That's a really good
alternative? Because
question.
you can, I know like White Glove,
Yep.
realty. Those are
Absolutely.
options as well.
Well, here's the thing: we don't buy every property we look at. So we have a great team of realtors, and Jessica White Glove and her agents. So we're not the solution for everybody. There is a proper time for them to go traditional retail, and we'll tell them straight up, hey, listen, we're probably not your best option, and honestly, this house isn't really something that we really want to purchase because it doesn't make sense for us. In that situation, we'll let our team of agents handle that transaction. So if someone is wanting to get max value for their property and they have time, they have a lot of time, then by all means, you need to go retail. You need to go traditional because that's going to be your best option.
Yeah, you may be able to get more money, but you have to have more time.
Correct.
To be able to
You
sell
You need
that.
time.
Realtor fees and
Yeah.
commissions, everything like
You
that.
need the time, the ability to be able to go that path.
If you have the time to go that route, then that might be the best route for you. But there's times and situations where
Sure.
people
Yep.
don't always have that time.
Yes.
Okay.
And like they need that money or they need something immediately. That's when the situations will be.
All right, hey, we're going to take a quick break on the FM, and we'll bring it right back. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Hey, let me see. All right, Facebook.
I'm trying to get you, bro, on the.
My bad.
Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning, folks. Let me know where you're watching from. So I'm going to let this song play. We're going to go back on the FM as well, but we're streaming live on Facebook, and we're on channel 46. So it's a good time, and we're hanging out, talking to Brandon, talking to Blake, and learning about everything Freedom Hawk has.
Yeah,
I
man.
love typing Freedom Hawk because then I look for it's an eagle, I believe, like emoji.
Yeah, I know it is. I know. I'm like, but hey, it's
right?
it's close enough.
Right.
Yeah, I use an eagle, but it's all good.
They're both powerful.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
of it and I'm like, it's a
Yeah.
powerful bird.
Yeah,
Like it
man.
it shows a lot.
Yeah,
It
flies high.
has meaning behind it.
Yeah, man, it does. Yep.
All right. So let's see. We got about 2 minutes, a minute and a half or so, and then we'll go on after this song's playing. If you are watching on Facebook, let me know, where are you watching from? I saw some people had already said, I'm watching from work, or I'm watching from here, watching from there. So let me know what you got going on today. We are going to be talking to Freedom Hawk, and then later we're also going to be talking to Michael Matrenga. He is the head of security, the director of that goes on at TCISD, and I believe he used to be a Secret Service agent in guarded President Obama, and probably has some really cool stories. So that's gonna be fun.
Yeah. That G13
Yeah,
classified
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I'm
CIA.
gonna be like, so it's just me and you here.
Right.
Nobody else is gonna hear what's that. Tell me something good.
That's awesome.
That Area 51 raid. Like,
Right. What's up?
how would they handle
What's up
that?
with those aliens, man? What's going on?
Who killed Tupac?
Yeah. Is he still alive? Where's he at?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
We're gonna get to the answer. So make sure you stay tuned throughout the rest of this show. We're gonna be on till 11. And I'm going to go ahead and pull us back in. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it's 9:22 a.m. We're talking to Freedom Hawk, learning about everything that they have to offer, everything that's going on. And there's been a lot of expansion lately.
Yeah.
Blake, where do you see this thing eventually going? Like, where do you want to see yourself? And I know you've probably planned it out strategically, next year and then in the future.
Absolutely, man. So right now we're doing we're helping about 6 families a month. So that's 6 properties a month. The goal is to get to 10 in January. So next year, 10 deals minimum every single month. So 120 total. And the goal is to be in every single state except Hawaii, because you can't do these deals in Hawaii. So 49 out of the 50 states, I want to be in the whole U.S. doing transactions, doing deals. The mission for Freedom Hawk is to create financial freedom for every team member. So that's the goal. Everybody that comes and joins the team, I want to create financial freedom for them and their families, because if that happens, then that means I'm successful, everybody's successful.
As well as the families we're serving.
Absolutely.
So the customer too, the client.
Exactly. It's just that's the goal.
That's what Freedom Hawk means. Like I said, financial freedom from everything.
Yep.
Yeah. And you're really only one deal away, one decision, meeting one person from being, free financially.
Absolutely.
And what's interesting about that is that's subjective to me, to you, to anybody.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean to to Crystal or somebody else?
Yep.
It can mean something totally different.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. It could be different for everybody in different situations. Some people need more, some people need less. It's an on the individual basis. But regardless, creating that financial freedom for people is what this is all about.
Yeah, helping 10 families a month, is that just like it's a solid number.
Yeah.
It's an even number. Is that why you picked that one, or is there more to it?
Well, it's I look at the industry and what the top people are doing, and look, man, there's guys doing 60, 70 deals a month. Okay, so like by no means am I close to that right now. I mean, we have a lot of work to do, but the target, the goal is to be at that top place in the industry. So because here's the thing, you can't help people without being successful yourself, right? So for us, we need to hit that number to be able to create the impact that we want to create. There's guys, Rafael Vargas, who I met last weekend. He's out in Tampa. He's in 9 different markets. They're doing 70, 90 deals a month. I mean, these guys are on a whole nother level.
How big is his team?
Massive. I mean, they have about he probably has 50, 60 people that work with him.
But that's the only difference. So I'm not saying there's nothing to take away from what he has going on, because he's obviously doing the right things. But we have the same services. We do the same thing. He's just doing it on a larger scale.
That's right.
Like I said, we're just getting this started.
Yep.
So with us, we were able to get a little bit more one-on-one with our clients to make sure everything is done as quickly and as fast as possible.
One thing that I enjoy working with a business that's local and you can talk to the owner. hey,
That's right.
if I have an issue, I
Yeah,
have
we're
a
in the
question.
trenches. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
and I can talk to you, shake your hand, and you'd be like, hey, I promise, I
Yep.
guarantee it's in writing right here, and
That's
this
right.
this is my name.
That's it.
This is
100%.
what it's all about.
Yeah, and we do all our transactions with Alamo Title over in Clear Lake. Shout out to Melody Leary. She's an awesome title person, man. She helps our deals go smooth, fast, and easy. Man, she handles all kind of crazy stuff with title issues, and she always gets the
She's
job
great at
done.
what she does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's efficient.
Yep.
I saw something the other day, and it was on a post that you shared, and it was some signs. So, and I've seen some signs like, hey, call me. You want to get, fix the problem? I got you.
Yeah.
You're trying to sell your house. And then I read the comments, and there was another guy being like, hey, I don't know if you're allowed to put those
Right.
or what's the deal with that? I didn't really follow or understand.
Yeah. So so there is some truth to that. I mean,
So what had happened?
yeah. So listen, there is some truth to that. What he said. You got to be careful putting these signs out. We now do everything legally. We did some things that I got fined for. I'm gonna be honest with you. We handled it with the city. We didn't know.
Learning curve.
Right, we didn't know. Like
curve.
there's just certain places you can put signs. We didn't know. We got it fixed, so now we put them in the appropriate
Learn that
places.
quick.
Learned it quick. So yes, you got to make sure if you put out signs, you got to make sure you get with the city and make sure you can do it properly.
Permits.
So I'm looking
Permits,
like
yeah.
even like political signs. Like you look
Yeah.
at people run for office, and I'm guessing they would do that too, or is it?
Absolutely, man. They get fined all the time. I found that out with my situation. So you got to do things right with the city. You got to go through the city. And then once you do, they're fine. You just they'll tell you where you can put them and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to put signs out, but I don't know what it's gonna say.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the only thing holding me up. And then I guess I'll run it through
yeah,
the
yeah,
city too.
yeah. They work, man. They work for sure.
Just I don't know, something positive on there. Be
So
like
maybe I love Oreos. I mean, who can argue with
Anything.
that?
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah, exactly.
honk, like honk
Yeah.
if you like cookies.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
people are like, hey, I like cookies. And I'm like,
Exactly.
someone
Then
honk
you get
for
a
my
noise
sign.
violation. because
Yeah.
of your sign. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah.
first of all, you don't have a permit. Then you're
Yeah.
causing noise.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that I really like and notice whenever you talk about, hey, what's the goal? And you said, I want to be able to help. I want to
Yeah.
help 10
Yeah.
families. It's not like I want to be able to do 10 deals.
Right.
You said, I want to be able to help 10 families a month. And is that really what it boils down to, being able to help other people?
Yeah, I mean, it is. Look, I'm a practical person, so I look at all sides, right? I look at the practical side, and I look at the more purposeful, meaningful side too. Okay, if I can help 10 families, then deals come. They come. Transactions come. You know what I mean? But if I look at it as I just need to get 10 transactions, it's a little backwards for me, right? So for me, the goal is always to be able to provide that service for the families. And if that happens, and if I do everything right, and we do everything right, then our business
falls in
thrives,
place, yeah.
right? So yeah, that is the goal.
All right. And how can somebody find you on the internet, social media? How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, Instagram, Freedom Hawk, with a what's the
Underscore?
Freedom
Yeah.
Hawk underscore. Yeah, I'm not a technical guy. Yeah, Freedom Hawk underscore. Yeah, and then on Facebook, Blake Ryan Hawkins, and then on Facebook, Freedom Hawk. You can find me on there also. And then Brandon,
Yep.
I feel like that is, and if you're watching on Facebook or Channel 46, you know this, but this is like the international sign for like underscore.
That's what
Yeah,
just
yeah,
happened.
underscore. Yeah.
What's funny is I knew
That thing.
you know what he's talking about.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't until
You know
he
that
did
thing.
He's
The
like,
under-
you know that.
Yeah, that
I'm
little
like, okay.
line right
You're
there.
like
yeah,
under,
yeah.
and then you like
yeah,
your score.
Yeah, yeah.
I was talking to someone yesterday, and I was getting their email, and they were, when you put like a period or a dot or a point, like, so it was just funny. So they were saying like, oh, their initial, and they said something that was just off. Like they said like period or something, and I was like, what? Period? I was like dot, like G Garcia, dot,
yeah.
whatever. That's, my email would be something like that. So it's just interesting.
Yeah.
It's the front slash and backslash that messes me up.
Yeah.
Please don't. If you have an email with those, don't send it to me. Send it
Yeah.
to Blake.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna mess it up.
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. Hey, how can someone get a hold of you, Brennan?
Same exact places. Like we have access to both the emails and different things. It goes to both of us.
Okay, cool. And I know you said y'all have a meeting like even later today. Is that usually what the days look like? Hey, I got to go meet, try and get deals done?
Yeah, I mean, it can be. Like today, we're going to be meeting with a homeowner in Houston. And then right after that, we're going to go look at a few properties with a few people that we're working some deals with.
Yeah.
But
So,
to answer
yeah.
your question, yes.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Ripping and running all day long.
Yeah, all day, man. Talking to
much,
people, talking
yeah.
to sellers, talking to homeowners.
Mhm.
That's pretty much what we're doing. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's always busy because
Yeah.
you look at a 9 to 5 job, you show up,
Right.
here's your paycheck, you know what you're going to get,
Yeah.
you're at this rate. And with you guys, it's like how hard you hustle and go and
Right.
meet. there's really no cap.
There is no cap. There is no cap. And it's definitely not a 9 to 5. You know, I'm always doing something up until probably 9:30, 10 o'clock every day. I'm talking to somebody, you know, about something. So, but it's not hard, man. I love what I do. It's not, it doesn't feel like work to me. It's just so natural. It's not a big deal, you know?
Yeah. You mentioned knowing Blake and you all had worked together in the past in a couple different ways and done a lot of stuff together. How is it finding people that you trust to represent your brand, to represent you, and to work with, you know, side by side? Is that an issue at times?
Not for me. I pretty much know right away. You know, I just know. And I know who I can trust and who I can't. And Brandon reached out to me. It was organic, and it fit. It worked, and I knew it was the right fit. So for me, I just kind of know once I meet someone, I know if they're going to be a good fit for us pretty fast.
Plus, we'd work together.
Yeah.
Like, so we know that we work well together, and we have the same mentality, same mindset, and same goals. And so,
absolutely,
once you can be around somebody who's like-minded, that just makes the process so much easier.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that same thing happen whenever you are talking to somebody who reaches out to use a service? Like, hey, I'm trying to sell my house. Like, you talk to them, and it's like, hey, this is going to work. You know right off the bat, or does it take some more time?
Well, it just depends. I mean, that could take a little more time. But pretty fast, we kind of know what's going on, and our goal is to direct them to their right path as fast as possible.
It depends on really how open-minded the person is, because sometimes they come in with a number in their head that they made up, or a neighbor down the street told them that they got. You know what I mean? It's just it's all about how reasonable the situation is too. You know what I mean? That'll make the process go by quicker.
Yeah, you know, there's like the Zillow app. You know, if you haven't heard of the Zillow app, I feel like, you know, there's like the Zestimate, which I've heard like realtors come out and be like, this is where are they getting these numbers?
I know, man. I know.
Google.
And so that will give, you know, I'm looking at them like, oh, my house is worth, you know, like this is way more than I paid.
I know.
And then I go and show it to you, or I show it to a realtor.
We
or
get it all the
person.
time, man.
Then I understand there's difference between that and like market value and like what it's actually like really like going for.
Yeah. How do people calculate market values?
Well, you run, you know, usually if you have to have access to the MLS. So if you're an agent, you have access. You run comps. So basically you look at a 0.5 mile radius of all the houses that have sold that are comparable to the house that you're looking at. And you try to figure out, you know, where those houses are selling for. So if you're looking at houses at 3.2, you look at a 0.5 mile radius and you look at all the houses that are 3.2, same square footage that sold, and boom, there's your comp.
Okay.
It's a math equation.
Yes, it's just math. It's numbers. Yeah.
You pretty much are trying to keep up with it's like the Joneses sold their house for, you know, $250,000, and my house is bigger. I could sell it for, you know,
and the market dictates that. So you know, you have what your house is tax assessment, what you're taxed on. That's completely different. What your house is worth value wise is a whole different ballgame.
I just got a text. Crystal texted me and said my shoes are squeaky, and I guess I was.
Dude, I like those shoes though.
I wasn't gonna say anything. It's driving me nuts. He's over here.
I like those. Those are clean, man.
So I always have like restless leg syndrome, restless hands. Like I'm all over the place.
All these things that people come up with.
I'm ready to run.
Oh, no,
man, you're just ready.
He's ready to come out the blocks.
Just in case.
Pina colada, is that good?
It's delicious.
Really?
This may be the first, and if you are listening on 99.5 FM, I have an energy drink, and so that's what helps keep me alive, you know, like in the day and in the morning.
I love this one, though, man.
That's the Purple Haze?
Yeah, the Purple Haze. It's so good.
It's a Houston thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly, yeah.
That one in is it like the pear guava? It's like almost the same color, but with a little bit of green.
It has the yellow thing on top. I don't like that one, though.
You don't like it?
Nah, I don't.
And it's more sweet.
Yeah,
it has like
it
a
is.
ding. Like a little thing at the end.
What is it?
Yeah.
It's a little ding.
Yeah.
It hits you different. I've tried most of them, and the only ones that I really am not a fan of are the coffee. Have you had any of the coffee ones?
I don't like those. Nope. I won't even try it. Won't even try it, bro.
No need.
Yeah.
Well, it's not carbonated.
protein.
I was like, ooh, carbonated coffee with energy. I'm gonna try this, but yeah, it's not. It's like I was like, is this flat? You know, you open it up and it didn't even do anything. But
you gotta stick with what you know is good, man.
I agree.
Fit your habit.
I agree. I'm still waiting for them to email me back. I'm just like, just send me a case.
I know, man.
I'll rep you everywhere.
Exactly. Me too.
Yeah. Right now, let's see. It's 9:35. This is KHEA Radio.com, 99.5 FM. We're going to be on until 11 o'clock, hanging out. We got Freedom Hawk in the house, talking to Blake, talking to Brandon. If you have any questions, maybe you are interested in getting out from under a property that's become a burden.
Yeah.
And burdens happen for a number of reasons. Can you explain, like, you know, there's a lot of people that you've been able to help.
Yes.
What are the different reasons and scenarios that these people have been in that you've been able to connect?
Many different reasons. The most recent one, let's look at the last two that we've done this past week. One was a landlord has owned the property for over 20 years. He's ready to move to the hill country, and he needs to cash out. So he has his house, right? I mean, what's he going to do? He's going to be a landlord the rest of his life. He's tired.
Yeah. Needs a lot of work.
I mean, it's a headache. He has to deal with tenants. So in a sense, he's just cashing out and he's going about his business. Yep. The other situation is actually a little bit similar. Elderly couple that's about to hit retirement, and they live in Louisiana. They have a house in Clute, Texas. Once again, they can't deal with it. They don't want to deal with it, and they want to cash out. So those are one reasons. You inherit a property. So I inherit a property that I do not want from a family member. It has a lot of problems. I have this property. It's now mine for legal rights, and I just want to sell it, cash out, and move on. I'm in foreclosure. I can't keep up with the payments, but I don't want that to hit my credit, so I sell the property. Divorce. I'm married, but now unfortunately we're getting divorced, so we need to sell the property because we're going about our separate ways.
Hand down in a will.
Yeah, I mean, it goes on, and there's so many reasons. Or I have a house, it's completely fine, but I just want to get out of it, and I want to maybe
take that money and get another house.
Yeah, take that money, get another house, or whatever I want to do.
Or travel. I recently had a friend who's like, it's now or never. I'm going to move overseas and go to school. I'm going to try and get another, degree in wherever. And so those are things that you have to figure out. Like I got my vehicle, my car payment, I got a house, I got a mortgage, or another friend recently got a job, a new job, and they had just bought a house this summer. They weren't planning on getting that other job, but opportunity came in Florida. Mm-hmm. So right now they're in Florida with a house.
Yes.
Over here in Houston, like in the Heights.
Tell them to call
so
me, man.
Like what can you do?
In the Heights, that's a hot area, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these areas that just the Heights. I remember the Heights even like 10, 15 years ago.
He's like, man, that thing is flaming, man. That zip code is hot. Yeah.
I have another buddy who bought one like outside of the Heights, and he was like, they say like in the next 10, 15 years, like the Heights is gonna just absorb this area. So he bought that house kind of as an investment. Mm-hmm. For me, I'm just like, well, you could have spent that same kind of money and moved over here, like in my area where I'm at, and bought a beautiful home. But I guess with real estate, it's all about location.
Yeah, a location. Yeah, sure, location. And there's some weird area. I mean, there's some zip codes, man, that if you drive down in Houston, you're like, dude, this house can't be worth more than $30,000. But dude, they're going for like $275,000. It's crazy, right?
2-bedroom, 1 bath, built in 1901.
And a lot of it's because
historical district.
Historical district, and developers will come in, they'll tear down the house, they'll build up new condos. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of value there, and it's close to downtown. It's location. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, there was a minister who came to Abundant Life the other day. His name's Dick Burnell, and he's in Silicon Valley. So he had a church there. He recently turned it over to someone else, and he's been doing like some traveling and some other stuff. But he has his house there. He has, his kids have houses there. But this is like, he's been there for years, like the 80s or something. And so he was talking about the property in California and how if you're trying to buy a house in Silicon Valley, it's going to be, you're going to spend millions of dollars for a house that looks like it's worth, $80,000.
No, seriously. California is crazy, man. Yeah, it's a very expensive place to live for sure. Houston's beautiful, man. I mean, man, you can get. I mean, seriously. I mean, I love Houston. There's not a better place to live than the Houston area, man.
Facts.
Seriously.
Big facts.
Yeah, there's a lot of different areas too. So it's like, hey, I want to live in this part of town,
absolutely,
or even the suburbs.
Hour and a half either direction, you still be in Houston.
Yep, that's exactly right. Yeah, it goes everywhere.
Seriously.
Yeah. So there's always a lot of stuff going on too.
Yeah. And the Astros, man, we'll take it back this year, man.
Tonight.
Yeah.
5.
They need to win tonight.
Yeah, they do.
I coach my son's football team, and so the game we start practice at 6:15. The game starts at 6. So I'm thinking about just getting a big speaker. You know what I mean? At least just play it over the system, so it's a win.
Yeah.
Go Niners.
Man, the games, like I looked, it's like 6:03. They always do like these random things, like 6:07 first pitch.
Man, I know.
Last forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the game's gonna be on till midnight.
Yeah. I know, exactly.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Man. So what is the predictions? Y'all have some predictions. Garrett Cole's on the mound. Last time he struck out 15 people, and I guess he didn't allow a run.
We're gonna win the night 6-2.
6'2".
Yep.
They need to make it to where everybody's blood pressure is okay.
Yeah,
and I feel like
yeah.
6'2" is a
Right.
good place.
It's enough
like
room there, right? But still a
Yes.
good game.
Let's
you
get
know.
that 6 knocked out in the beginning.
Second inning, we got
close.
6 runs
I'd
up, and we just kind of
appreciate that.
cruise the rest of the
Right.
game. You know.
Yeah, even game 2 when Garrett Cole was on there, it was 3-1, and they had like bases loaded.
Yeah.
They brought in the closer. Maybe that one out. I don't know. Too soon. Whatever. That's the manager's
Yeah.
decision. But man, everybody was. I feel like was on the edge of their seat.
Oh yeah.
Man, I want to go to a playoff game this year. I didn't. 2 years ago, I went to a playoff game when they were playing the Yankees. Dude, the atmosphere was unbelievable, man.
Sure.
I mean, dude, the energy, like
Yeah.
it just. I mean, it was such a cool experience.
So during the World Series, my brother-in-law got tickets for him and my father-in-law, but they couldn't find an extra ticket for a little old me.
Oh,
like in the World Series, they're
man.
like, "Oh yeah, sorry,
Dang.
maybe
Yeah.
next
Next
year."
time.
Next time, man. Next time they go to the World Series, I got you.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
got you, man.
I was like, "Yeah, enjoy the game,
Hopefully
guys."
they go this year.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You owe me, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just here at home, here at home, hanging out by myself.
Yeah.
My kids are here. Yeah, of course, my
Right.
family's
Yeah.
there, but
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
No
So-
big deal.
maybe this year I'm rooting for maybe an extra.
Well,
an
so
extra
you know,
year.
with baseball, I love watching baseball games in person. Okay, but football, I like watching it on the TV better, man, than in the actual at the stadium.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know, it's an experience. I don't know. I mean, I love football, period, but I'd rather watch it on TV than in person.
I don't know what this guy's talking about.
But in baseball, I'd rather be at the
I
stadium.
understand what you're saying.
You know what I'm
Because-
saying? Yeah.
because like I'm looking at the seats. The football game that I went to last, it was a Texans game, but I was like in the end zone.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's going
Yeah,
on
what's
over
good-
there?
yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
I'm watching on the jumbotron anyways.
Right. Yeah, you're watching on TV.
Fair
anyways.
enough.
So
Yeah.
then you have like your
Yeah.
own TV in
Right.
your house.
But the atmosphere is awesome though.
It
I will
is,
say
yeah.
that. Yeah.
But you have no cell phone service.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm disconnected from the outside world because there's like thousands of people here, like on
Yeah.
AT&T as well.
I know.
So
Wi-Fi's not working.
Yeah. I know.
yeah. what am I supposed to do? I'm disconnected. Oh, man. But it's going to be an awesome time tonight. So make sure that you root on the Astros.
Yeah.
They need the support. If you're going to the game,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yell a little bit louder for me,
Yeah.
so we can get to the World Series.
That's
so I
right.
have an opportunity to go.
Exactly.
He's old.
Yeah. Hey, are you a Rockets fan as well?
Yeah, man, absolutely. All Houston, man. All Houston. Yep.
We-
I'm a big college football fan, though, man.
Who are you rooting for?
Dude, I've been a
Dame.
I've been a
I knew
diehard
that, yeah.
Irish fan.
Yeah.
I'm going to their game November 2nd against Virginia Tech up at their home stadium. So I'm pumped.
This
I'm
is
pumped.
actually Rudy all grown up.
I'm Rudy, bro. Yeah, I'm reincarnated.
Rudy,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it, man. Hardworking guy here.
Yeah, man.
Is that the best football movie ever?
Dude.
Ah,
Bro, it's the only movie I've ever cried in. Seriously, yeah.
oh, come on, man.
That and
Land
Notebook.
Before Time?
He cried in The Lion King. We
Yeah,
were just
The Lion
talking about
King,
the other
like,
day.
Lion King,
man.
yeah, yeah.
I was just telling fibs. Star Wars. I can
Star
name like
Wars, I
another
cried.
three.
Nah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
No,
I would still cry in Land Before Time. I
Avengers.
remember seeing that as a kid.
Dude,
Like,
yeah, man.
Hey.
Sad, man.
You have no heart if the last Avengers did not make you at least choke up. You ain't got to cry, but if you didn't feel some type of way, you might not have a soul.
Yeah, you need to do some
R.I.P. Tony Stark. I mean,
reflection.
Come on, man, be real.
Come on, Tony.
do some self-reflection and
Yeah.
figure
Yeah,
that
yeah,
out.
look in the mirror
Yeah.
and see what's happening.
Yeah.
Exactly. Who hurt you?
Man. So the Rockets right now are in Japan,
Right.
and I'm ready for them to come back home so they can play some games. But yesterday we had someone in from the San Luis Resort in Galveston, and that's one of the Tillman Fertitta properties. So he owns the
Right.
Rockets. He
Right.
owns Pleasure Pier,
Yep.
everything going on in
Host
Landry's.
Does he owes the hotel?
everything.
Yeah, he owes everything. Yeah, he owns.
Yeah.
He
yeah.
does,
He owns
and
a
so it was just really fun to talk to her and kind of figure out like the culture that they have.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of people that he just released a book. It's called Shut Up and Listen.
Dude, I'm gonna get the audiobook here soon.
Yeah. I was asking her. I was like, did he like make everybody? Because if I wrote a book and I was in charge of anything, I'd be like, everybody has to read my book.
Yeah.
We're getting on the New York Times bestseller.
Right. Yeah.
That's one goal. And second, you
Right.
just need to listen. Shut up and listen. to
Yeah,
the book.
yeah. That dude's I mean, he's a business beast, man. That dude,
Yeah, definitely
very
guru.
smart guy.
Yeah, she was talking about all the restaurants everywhere, and I was like, man,
Yeah.
it's just he's a billionaire who's done some really cool things, and those are the kind of people you do want to listen to because you can't just listen to anybody.
No, you don't want to, man. Not
Yeah.
anybody. Yeah.
Everybody has advice.
Yep. You gotta be careful who you listen to for sure.
Yeah. Who are you listening to?
Man, I mean, look, I listen to, of course, GC, Uncle GC. You know, I mean that's the, you know, I resonate with a lot of his business philosophy. So Grant Cardone, and then, maybe maybe a lot of people agree with me or not, but I love Trump. his business. I mean, Art of the Deal is one of the best business books I've ever read. Those are the two main guys I listen to business wise, you know, and then there's many other different, you know, people that I'll listen to as far as audiobooks. John Maxwell's a good person, a bunch of good leadership books. You know, yeah.
You see the 10X Growth Conference is back in Las Vegas.
I'm going. Yeah,
Are you going?
Yep.
Man, I click on it and it was like, and I'm looking at it, and this is marketing, and it's true too, and it's like a $2,500 value for $497, and I got 8 minutes to decide. I need to buy my ticket right now. I'm gonna miss this opportunity. Oh my God, what's going on?
Yeah. Well, dude, they had a special where you can buy your ticket but pay it off in like 6 months.
Oh, that's cool.
So I did that, and so I paid. Yeah, so I got my ticket, and it is worth it, man. I'm telling you, I've went to the last two, and I've seen nothing but like increase in my business every time I go. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get to meet people there?
You do. I met him there. I met Cardone
you got to
there.
Meet Grant Cardone?
Yeah.
He was in Houston. Did you go?
I did not go, man. I think I had an appointment at a property. That's why I couldn't go. You know, so, but I've already, you know, GrowthCon, I'll be there, and I've already met him and all that. And dude, it's a cool experience, man. A lot of highly successful people are there, and it kind of like lifts you up. You're good in a good environment. Has that osmosis effect where you recharge and you kind of get rejuvenated and stuff. It's good, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I didn't get to go whenever he was in Houston, but there was a couple people, like one of my cousins went, and I just saw some people. And it's just interesting to see these people who kind of listen to the same crowd, but they're very, very successful people. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Grant Cardone, shout out to him. Give me a call.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Maybe he'll be on the show here soon.
Yeah, right now it's 9:47 a.m. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. My name's Gardy, and I'm talking to Blake, Freedom Hawk, talking to Brandon with Freedom Hawk, learning about all of the things that they have going on. There's a solution to every problem, and sometimes you don't even realize you're in a problem because it's just everyday life.
Yep.
And that's whenever y'all come in and are able to alleviate the problem and show people, hey, there's a better life out there.
Yep.
And is there ever, are y'all thinking about like adding more? Like, because Freedom Hawk, the name, it's not necessarily in the name, like everything that you do.
Yeah.
So if you said, hey, I'm a Freedom Hawk, someone would ask you, well, what do y'all do? Is there ever any other things that you're looking to take on as well?
As far as what?
As far as like services and things that y'all offer and solutions that y'all bring to the table?
Well, I mean, we with the real estate, you know, it's kind of there's so many different ways you can skin a cat in real estate. There's so many solutions and different opportunities. I mean, we can sit here for hours and go over them. Different strategies that we can help a seller and a homeowner. But yeah, I mean, whenever we call people, we say, hey, this is Freedom Hawk Real Estate. That way they know kind of like what we do. They already know we're talking about a property. But most of the time, it's not even about the name. It's about connecting with the person, right? So once we connect with the person, the name is you obviously got to have a business name, but really it's more about just connecting with the homeowner and building that rapport and that relationship with them, and kind of explaining to them how we can be a solution to their situation.
Cool. You know, yesterday I was talking to a local credit union, had a meeting, and I've been trying to meet with them, no joke, for over a year, trying to get to the right person to talk to someone because I want to do some stuff together. There's some goals that we have as a station and partnerships that we need to make and things that we can help. You know, okay, here's the thing that I found. A lot of places, they need a solution as far as like, hey, we're doing these things. Maybe people see it, maybe they don't. I don't know how to get the word out about it, whether that's an event or like even like a good deed. I feel like those things need to be spotlighted on. And so I saw that and I was like, hey, I can help you.
Yep.
Let me help you. You know, so I finally had that meeting. But the one thing in that meeting, the word that kept coming up was relationship.
Yeah.
You know, in that meeting, he probably said it, I'm not even joking, probably like 50 times.
Yeah.
Relationship. And I was asking him, you know, these questions. He's like, well, it's more about the relation, and that's with their customers, with their partners and people.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the same with you. You know, you keep bringing up, hey, it's about that relationship, getting that trust.
Yep.
And then bringing a solution to the table.
Yeah. You gotta build that connection with people. Otherwise, it's just it's tough to do business in anything, right? So it's about the people. We're in a people business, man. That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. I saw a video that Jessica had put out with White Glove Realty for the White Glove design. How is that going?
Dude, she's killing it, man. Dude, she has like 8-9 projects going right now. I mean, seriously. So White Glove Design, they're just they're super busy. They're doing all kind of crazy stuff. I mean, look, that's out of my form of expertise, so I don't pretend to know exactly what she does. But I know she does great. Cool. But she does, but she does great work. And she's awesome. She's very creative, right? So she can go into a house and come up with all creative different ways to remodel the property and things that aren't my strong suits. I'm just like, let's just get the deal done.
Does she partner and help you with the
she
stuff? She
can, absolutely. Yeah. So if we have a property and we need to do repairs and rehab it, she comes in and she does all that. She does. I mean, she's done properties for us. She'll come in, remodel it, design it, do all the layout, all that good stuff, and yeah, man, she's awesome at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a very special person.
Yes. Yeah. It's not. I just don't have it.
Yeah.
But she does, and the people that she works with, they're great at what they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Right now it is 9:51. We got a couple minutes left, and we're just going to be able to chat on I guess on whatever. Is there anything else that we haven't touched on that you would like to be able to mention and share?
Man, Brandon.
Man, I think we pretty much hit a lot, man. I think like I said, our main thing is like that, just getting things done fast and convenient. That's what most time people like to deal with us, because we get things done quickly. And you pretty much just sit back and just wait for us to call you a week later and be like, hey, Mr. Jones, we have a check for you.
Yeah, we handle
we
all
have
of
a
it.
check for you.
Yeah.
Like I said, once you sign, it's done. Like I said, it takes us just a few minutes to qualify to see if we are a good fit for you, and if we are, then we'll have an offer to you within 7 minutes, and then after that, it takes just days to have a check.
Yeah. Whenever we're talking about relationships, it's not just the relationship with obviously your colleagues, the relationship with the client. There's also the relationship with the investors.
Yep.
And how is that? Because that's a relationship that you have to manage. So they trust you and be like, hey, we'll get it done, get results.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, we have great relationships with the investors that we work with. I mean, we've done. Shout out to Mo. He's probably not watching. He's probably doing a deal or something. But man, I've done multiple properties with this guy this year, man. He's probably one of my favorite people that I partner up on deals with. So yeah, we have great relationships with our investors, and because we're working on both sides, man. We're working with the sellers, the homeowners. We're working with investors. We're working with the title company. I mean, we're kind of hitting all sides of the deal. So having those core relationships is what allows our business to continue to thrive and grow.
If somebody is looking to invest in something, and a lot of times people don't know where, is that an opportunity as well?
We are a vehicle for them. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So what you can do is you can contact us, let us know kind of where you are and what you want to achieve as far as your investment. We come across deals all the time. That's what we do. And then we can say, hey, for what you want, this deal might be a good opportunity. Come out, walk the property with us. We'll show you the numbers. You can do your own due diligence, and then you get a good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people will say, man, either I had this money or I inherited money. Maybe they didn't inherit a property.
Yeah.
I just let it sit in the bank. I've never had this much money in an account. Is it smart to just leave it there? But money that's kind of like in the bank, I've heard some people say, and it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
It's dead money. It's
well,
just
I'm in the process also of we're creating a hedge fund. So my buddy Lawrence, he's a financial guru. Dude, that's not me. I'm just helping him create it. But he's created hedge funds before. He's a day trader, does stocks. He knows numbers. So we're actually pulling up a bunch of investors together to create a hedge fund too.
Is that okay? So a hedge fund, I'm not fully aware of what it is. It's just like if we had money and we wanted to put it in one account and then we can invest it.
That's right. And then we do deals through that hedge fund. You can invest in properties. You get a return on your investment. It's just a vehicle to allow your money to grow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And his name's Lawrence.
Yeah, Lawrence Hollander. Yeah.
Lawrence, what's up, man?
Yeah, he's probably not watching either. That's cool. He's day trading or something. Yeah.
Day trading.
Yeah.
That's, all right, man. There's so many different ways to make money and different things that you can do, and I guess you're just limited by your creativity and the risk reward that you want to do.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Work ethic.
I think it's creativity, man. I mean, you just gotta. You got to connect with people that expand your vision, And look, I'm good at a few things, but there's a lot of things I'm just not good at. So I like to connect with people that help me grow and help me see a bigger picture. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
collaboration, man.
I agree. And there's those sayings like, if you want to see yourself, look at your circle of influence, and if you want to step up, your game, look at your circle of influence and try and connect with people who have done it or are willing to help you or mentor you.
Or at least have the same mindset. Have the same goals.
Working towards that same thing.
Moving in the same direction. Just being positive and moving forward.
Yep.
All right. So I guess we're just about out of time. Can you remind everybody how to get a hold of you?
Freedom Hawk on IG, Freedom Hawk _. This thing right here.
Underscore.
Yeah,
the
Freedom Hawk
bottom one,
underscore.
right there.
Facebook, Blake Ryan Hawkins, and then Facebook, Freedom Hawk.
All right. Thanks for hanging out. Hey, stay tuned because we're going to have Michael Matrenga and some of his team here in studio. We're going to be talking about the Texas City ISD, security. What are they doing for the schools here in our area, and also some of his background because he's done some really cool things. And if I understand correctly, he plans to be president one day. This is a conversation we had, and so I'm going to be getting down to the bottom of this and see when that's going to happen. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah, they're good to go. So Texas City is one of the, as far as technology, they're on the forefront whenever it comes to school security.
Really?
Yeah.
They're on top of their stuff, huh?
Yeah, let me see. So if you're watching on Facebook, let me know what's up. What's up? And if you have any kids in school, where they go to school, and do you, any suggestions, thoughts on what we're doing with school security currently and how we can improve it? Because like with any problem, there's always a solution. There's always a better way to do it. So whenever it comes to safety, you can always do something else to improve the safety of our schools and make sure that our kids are safe and taken care of. But yeah, Michael Matrenga, he's the gentleman who's the executive director, making sure that our Tech City ISD is taken care of.
Cool. Dude, thanks for having us on.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, hit me up. And I guess Kurt, he'll be popping down here somewhere to come chat.
Yeah, that's cool.
Come chat for a bit. What's up? Good morning, John. What about the Astros, man? I see your logo on there. So Blake called 6-2 Astros winning tonight, moving on to the ALCS, which the Yankees took care of business. It appears their bats were on fire, and they're in the LCS. So the Astros need the bats to wake up, and I think tonight's the night. Minute Maid is the solution for that. So it's funny. I think it's funny they call it the juice box.
Yeah, yeah. Well, left field is such a short. Dude, it's it's home run central, bro.
Yeah.
It's only 315 for a major leaguer, bro. It's nothing.
I'll say for me, I can't hit it. For Alex Bregman,
yeah, man,
he's
nothing, man.
He does T-Rex arms, but he's jacked. He's
yeah,
and the ball's gone. If you threw the ball straight at this man, he could somehow turn on it and keep it fair.
Me and him were watching the game the other day, and we were like, dude, and I played baseball. That was my main sport growing up. I mean, the instincts you got to have in that game. The ball's coming at you 95 miles an hour. I mean, when he releases the ball, you already got to be you're already swinging, man.
Yeah.
It's how do you know what I mean? It's just it's crazy, man.
Hand-eye coordination.
Yeah. You got to have crazy hand-eye coordination, man.
Well, Garrett Cole, in the eighth inning, is throwing 100 miles an hour on his 120th pitch. And for him to be able to do that, for you to be able to hit that, for him to, it's just it's crazy.
Oh yeah,
it's mind blowing.
Fling those.
Yeah, man. I know. I know, man.
Yeah, but how you can hit 100 mile an hour fastball? And I guess that's why they didn't.
Yeah, I'd rather hit it than it hit me.
Oh
I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, dude, just taking on the elbow.
I heard one of the announcers being like, "If that was me, I would have leaned into that." And
dude, nah, man, no, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah,
it depends.
Yeah,
it depends. All right. So we're going to keep it going.
Cool, man.
9:59.
You have these guys coming in?
Yeah. We're going to be talking to them, and he'll be able to help you out there. But appreciate you guys. Y'all are awesome. It was nice to meet you.
Thanks for having us on, brother.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
All right. So feel free to share this video. I'm going to go put this video right now in the Talk of Texas City because we're going to be talking about TCISD, which also includes Lamarck and Texas City schools. And there's a lot of stuff that I feel has been implemented since this gentleman has taken over the school district, and we're going to be learning about it all. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm going to share this video out on pretty much everywhere. I'm going to put it in Talk of Texas City because people in there are awesome.
They are awesome. They're my friends.
They are, and I'll say you're in there and very vocal in there as well.
I'm all about keeping things transparent. I think that's part of the problem with school districts is they want to keep everything internal, and I think that educators don't understand that it's our job to be transparent with people, and the more transparent we can be, I think that it helps us alleviate a lot of of issues.
Yes. Yes. All right. So I just shared this in Talk of Tech City, and let me get this one.
I should have got that on voice.
Well, it can kind of hear
We'll
you.
readdress that.
It can hear you a little bit.
Okay.
You're bleeding over right now, but right now we are live on Facebook. We're on channel 46, and we're about to take it live on the FM here in a bit after I find this. What I'm looking for right here.
Do I need to turn mine off? Or is that where we're getting bleed over from my phone or anything?
No. It's from just from the mics being hot. So what y'all can do is adjust the mics, and you're gonna want to talk probably about like this close to your mouth. So either like scoot up, or you can pull it up or over, and then your volume controls for your headphones are down there if y'all need to turn them up or down. So
Okay.
let's see. Talking school safety.
This feels like on a chopper again
Oh man.
with these headphones.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on a chopper back on a C5 somewhere.
Yeah.
somewhere
What's a
on vacation.
C5? You're gonna have to forgive me.
I'm retired Air Force, so military airplanes. So
Cargo.
Okay.
that, or you know what it feels like.
We used to have when we used to do presidential visits overseas or even domestic, mostly overseas, but because we would take 17s domestically, but C5s we usually took overseas, and we would take up to 10 vehicles, armored vehicles, and 80 personnel on one aircraft.
Wow.
Pretty strong.
So can you give me, before we go on the FM, just introduce yourselves and say your background and your current roles that y'all are in right now.
Go ahead.
My name is Craig Straw. I'm the Director of Security and Safety for Texas City ISD, former Director of Security and Safety for Clear Creek Independent School District, and former retired U.S. Air Force veteran, 27 years, retired Chief Master Sergeant.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all they get.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I'm Mike Matranga. I am the Executive Director of Security and School Safety for Texas City ISD. I am a former employee of Galveston County as a probation officer, adult probation officer, graduate of Lamarck High School and Sam Houston State. After my time with Galveston County, went to Secret Service Houston, worked there for a while, assigned to Senator Obama in 07-08 during that campaign. Came back to Houston, worked out of the Houston office for another year and a half, went over to our Special Operations Division in D.C. for assigned to the President's Counter Assault Team. Became a team leader on Team 5 at some point, roughly 2013, 2014. I can't remember the dates. And then went over to the Presidential Detail, where I was a shift agent on the Presidential Detail under President Obama. And left there, went to Department of Interior with the Bureau of Land Management, and oversaw the security for the infamous Bundy trial out in Las Vegas, and had a little small role in the Las Vegas shooting as well at the Mandalay Bay. So after Santa Fe, led me back here to start what we hope is a revolution in the new procedures that should be applied to school safety and security.
And we're friends on Facebook, and I see you being very vocal about, hey, this, there's an article shared, and then giving your thoughts, giving your commentary if there's an event. Hey, this is what we needed to do. This is what I've been saying, or we've implemented this. And I'm going to go ahead and switch us onto the FM and get y'all reintroduced so we can get into this. So here we go.
Let's do it.
Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it's 10:04. I'm Gardy. This is Kickstart. I'm excited. I got a couple of gentlemen in that are very well decorated, I'm going to say, and I'm excited to have you guys in studio. I'm going to let you introduce yourself and then say the role that you are currently in.
Starting off here again. Okay. Craig Straw. I'm the Director of Security and Safety for Texas City Independent School District, former Director of Safety and Security for Clear Creek Independent School District, retired U.S. Air Force combat veteran, 27 years, Chief Master Sergeant. This time I'll add on all the other stuff. So I've worked with the Thunderbirds, I've worked with NATO, I've worked with U.S. Special Forces around the world, and so it's been an honor and a privilege to serve my country. Now I'm just happy to bring some of that back into school safety and security.
All right, and so we have Mr. Michael Matranga as well, right?
Thank you for your service, Craig.
Thank you for yours,
Yes,
Mike.
sir.
Your resume, it reminded me of, like, when you started saying some of these names, have you ever played Halo?
No. I think
I was like, this gentleman is like a video game character, like with all the listed names and stuff. But that's really cool.
Some might agree I'm a character. I don't know about the video game part.
I'm thinking about the guy from Tropic. Was it
Tropic Thunder?
Oh.
Man. I always get the guy from Police Academy that makes the noises.
Oh, the noises?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Awesome.
So
Ready for me?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
All right. Mike Matranga. I'm the Executive Director of Security and School Safety for Texas City ISD. I graduate of Lamarck High School, graduate of Sam Houston State University. Went to work for the county, Galveston County, as an adult probation officer. Learned a lot about human behavior there. It was definitely an experience and something I'm grateful for, really. Then 2004, I was hired by the Secret Service in Houston. Worked my way through the different divisions, counterfeit, task force, protective intelligence division there in Houston, conducting investigations regarding the any threats towards the president or any of our protectees. 2007, 2008, I was assigned to the campaign nominee operations section for Senator Obama. Did 18 months with the senator as he was traveling the world and the United States running for office. Very honored to be a part of history of having our first African-American president and candidate, and saw and experienced a lot of things that I'll always cherish. So after that, came back to Houston for about a year and a half and worked in our protective intelligence division for the remainder of my time, and then was sent over to the special operations division within the Secret Service as a counter-assault team operator assigned to the president, and did that for about 4.5 years. Became a team leader on Team 5. We have 8 teams. That is a part of my career that I'll always cherish because of the dedication of the men and women of the Secret Service and the men and women on the the men on the counter-assault team. We haven't had a woman yet, so if any ladies out there are up to the challenge, I think that it would be great at some point. And then went over to the presidential shift on the Presidential Protective Division, and then left there for family reasons to spend time with my wife and daughters after traveling the globe, and went over to the Bureau of Land Management out in Las Vegas and became the lead security agent with another former Secret Service agent over the Bundy trial, the infamous Bundy standoff in 2014, which led to a secondary standoff in Malheur, where a gentleman was shot and killed in a secondary standoff. So that's kind of me in a 30-second or minute nutshell.
You know, the thing that I didn't realize is that I guess these cities had their own Secret Service branches. Like you said, hey, I was Secret Service Houston. So does every major city have a department?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact number, but I want to say that every major city for sure has an office. And then you have outlying cities like, for example, Waco, Austin, Tyler used to have an office. I'm not sure if they still have an office. Mexico City. So when I worked in Houston oversaw Houston, Austin, and Mexico City. And so we have, or they had offices, or they still have offices all throughout the United States.
Okay, Craig. Whenever you decided to go work at Clear Creek ISD, what is it that drew you towards that education and school safety?
So it was amazing. You when you retire military, you've gone around, you've done NATO, you've seen all these different things. You think, well, what kind of job am I going to get when I retire? I thought, well, I'm going to take the uniform off and sit and play golf. But as I got in and I started looking at what was going on, the interesting part is the year that I got hired in Clear Creek, that was the deadliest year in school shooting history.
What year was that?
That was 2018?
Okay.
2017, 2018 year. So it was one of those things that was, how we keep getting, I'm reading a book from the U.S. Marine Corps, their manual, left of bang. Bang is when the incident happens. I'm like, how does this keep happening? In 30-year period, how do we keep ending up with kids shooting each other? I came up with the idea that no kid ever wakes up and wants to do this. There's some underlying causes. There's some precursors in human behavior and signs, and we're just not we're not using the right tools, or we're not looking for them effectively, or we're not recognizing them. So I said, I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that discovery. I love a good mystery, a good puzzle. I love a good problem-solving event. So that was one of the things that led me into school safety and security.
Okay, and you started at Clear Creek.
I started at Clear Creek. 44 campuses, 42,000 students, 13 cities, 2 counties, and 103 square miles.
Okay. And then, Michael, whenever you came, you mentioned Santa Fe, and that was kind of one of the factors that led you back to where you're from.
Right. I believe that God has his hand in everything, and I'm not trying to get preachy on anybody, but I truly believe that. The day Santa Fe happened, I was working along the Arizona United States border, catching illegal immigrants coming in and out of the United States with trafficking or drugs and whatnot. And Santa Fe happened, and I'm a public servant at heart, and I wanted to be back here helping, and I couldn't be, because this is my hometown. It's my home county. I felt like my services were better fit here, and that was on a Friday, I believe, and the 18th of May. The 21st of May, I was driving home from Arizona to Las Vegas. That's where I was stationed. And I had a discussion with my wife about feeling like that I wasn't really contributing, and I felt like some of my talents were being wasted. And we had a very long heart-to-heart conversation. It was a 6-hour drive, and I told her, I said, I'm at the point where I'm ready to give up my gun and badge and just start serving, and I feel like school districts and school security is 2 decades behind on where they need to be. As I sit back and I observe, all good Secret Service agents are observers, and I kind of could pick apart what we were doing wrong, or what districts were doing wrong. And I just told my wife, I said, if an opportunity presents itself for me to come back and maybe it's my county or my hometown or wherever it is, wherever the opportunity presents itself for me to give back, to hopefully change the way that school security is done, I'm going to take it. And, God does answer prayers. I just didn't realize it was going to be so soon, because that was on a Sunday, Monday morning. And I have to give all credit to Melissa Tortorici, our director of communications. She had reached out to me Monday morning. I was pouring my first cup of coffee on the West Coast, and she sent me a text and said, Dr. Cavness, who's our superintendent, wanted to speak with me regarding school security. So I said, okay, it's time to send me a message, because she had reached out to me after Parkland, and I didn't receive that phone call. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
A few seconds later, he calls me, and first thing he says, and this is important, and this is how we're going to change school security. And this is what I want parents and the community to listen to. The first thing he told me was, hey, Mike, yes, sir, I have this figured out. And I said, what is it? He said, myself and guys like me should not be making decisions that guys like you should be making. We have a curriculum specialist. We have a specialist for special education. We have this specialist and that specialist, and we trust them to do their job and what they specialize in. So I'm not sure why superintendents think that we can be safety experts when we're not. And he said, what's it going to take for you to come back home and let's revolutionize school security? I want to give you the opportunity to do that. And then so that's kind of how it all started. And, when I go out and I speak and I talk, one of the first things that I talk about is administrative mindset. And I don't know what it is about educators or school boards or superintendents that they feel like they can do what I do. But I can tell you, I think that is the number one problem with what you're seeing in schools. And so people ask me all the time, how are you guys able to get done everything that you've been able to get done in such a short period of time? You've done more in a year than most districts have done in 20. And it starts with that. You have to have the right administrative mindset to let people do their job.
Yeah, the buy-in from the top.
Yes.
Because I guess it flows down to say, you know what, you are the expert. You know what you're talking about. It makes sense. And so here's a comment that I want to read. It said, TCISD is changing the game in school security. And then I want to touch on a comment that you made saying that the most school security is probably about 2 decades behind. So what has changed since y'all have, come in and kind of been able, given the freedom to make these changes necessary?
Yeah, I think, I spoke yesterday at the Texas Athletic Directors Association meeting at Challenger Field, and I was very honored to present there. But I think what it is, Gardy, is when you look at school security, when's the first time you recall police being in schools? Like, what decade was that?
I'm going to say the 2000s. 2000.
It was actually before that. It started in the 80s.
Really?
Well, what did we have going on in the 80s, right? Well, how old are you? Well, were you born in the 80s?
Yeah, 86.
Okay. But in the 80s, we had a huge drug epidemic, right? So that's when we had programs like DARE to stop.
Chicken Club.
Yeah, Chicken Club, all this stuff. That is why officers were originally put in schools. And, I say stuff because I don't believe in beating around the bush, and sometimes political correctness gets in the way of the truth. And so there's no offense by the things that I say. I don't intend to offend anybody, but what I'm saying is true. And people, they can either believe it or not, but I see it every day, is policing and security are 2 different things. However, we have to have both of them at the same time, right? So I think that what we're doing, and you see districts throughout the nation, is they want to just have police in schools, and they think that is the solution. That's absolutely a part of the solution, but it's not the whole pie, right? We talk about puzzles, we talk about pies. There's all the pieces have to be there, right? We have to take a more proactive approach. I feel like most districts have a very good responsive approach, but what we're trying to do, like Craig said, is with the book Left of Bang. Bang is the incident. We're trying to get left of that to prevent that, right? And not to steal your thunder, but it's, everything that we do is 75% proactive, 25% reactive. And I'm not discrediting the reactive side. We have to have a very comprehensive reactive plan. But if we can identify and prevent the problem before it happens, then we've won. And so that's kind of my philosophy is, we're still stuck in the 80s and 90s style of policing for schools when it should be a proactive security approach. And so that's kind of my thoughts on that.
So if I could add to what Mike's talking about, and we're talking about being preemptive in the process. So we've gone through, we do Sigma Threat Associates. We do their threat management program. This is developed by Secret Service agents, and basically a simple list of 11 questions. List of questions that if someone was wanting to make a threat against the president, the Secret Service would run that checklist and see the person's potential to carry out their threat. Well, I think it was 1986, the Secret Service approached the Department of Education and say, we believe, based upon what's happening with active shooter events, this same profile or management tool or preventative tool could be used in school districts. And we've been starting to do that. You'll see the Texas School Safety Center is now using those tools across the state of Texas to be preemptive in terms of determining shooters who make a statement, and then they determine their potential to carry out that statement. You rate them on a scale of 0 to 5. And the idea is to identify someone who has the potential, take them off the pathway of violence, and get them the treatment that they need.
Wow.
So pathway to violence has 4 steps. Someone who believes that violence is an acceptable means to solve their problem. Then they go into a planning stage. Then they go into acquiring the weapon. Then they actually execute their task. You can see this actually unfold from Ohio recently to Dayton. And here's an interesting fact that we miss in media when we go back and we look at the Dayton shooter. The Dayton shooter actually had a kill and a rape list that was pre-identified in school. He was already identified as a threat at the school level. We could have prevented some of those crimes had we been a little bit more proactive and at the school level. Perhaps people wouldn't have lost their lives that day in Dayton.
There was an incident, and there's a local school district, I won't even say which one, but a kid received a text the other day, and it was ruled well, it leaked out. These kids text, I guess the teachers talk, and something happened anyways. It causes parents, to be concerned, like, wow, what's going on? I'm going to go pick up my kids. They won't give me any answers, or I'm talking to the kids and there's rumors, right? Because that's what happens. And then there was a statement released saying, it's not a viable threat. And some people are like, oh, what is it determined to be a viable threat? So like what you just walked me through is information that people should have access to. And, me and you, we've had, some conversations, and you saying like, I feel like we should be more open.
We do. We should.
But why?
Well, I tell you why is I can speak from experience. Here's, oh man, I'm going to get into it. Okay. So
I think I'm ready. I got the mute button right here just in case. I'm just kidding.
Well,
I do, but I'm just kidding.
So here's the deal.
Gloves coming off.
I'm tired of coddling people's feelings, and I'm tired of people trying to protect their brands and their reputations when we have students dying throughout the nation. Last year was the deadliest year for school shootings in the United States ever. If people think that this is going to be a problem that's going to solve itself or go away, they're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the truth. And so, you asked earlier about Talk of Texas City and why I'm so vocal on there. Listen, I'm not giving away anything that I shouldn't be giving away. What I'm doing is I'm educating, I almost said constituents, but what I'm educating our public on what they need to know, right? What they deserve to know as a taxpayer. That's the way that we should be. We should be transparent. And something as simple as just going on Talk of Texas City and the community citizens of Texas City's webpage, or me putting it on my personal page, not giving away any specific details regarding the student or staff member or parent in fear of violating the law, just giving them the little bit of information to maybe give them a little bit of peace of mind. It helps us alleviate problems by not giving that information. And what I mean by that is we had an issue last year, and this is why I do this, is last year we had a rumor going around that a student said that he was going to shoot another student over a girl at one of our intermediate schools. Investigated, brought both kids in. Both kids said, that was never said. I said I was going to fight him over this girl, but I never said I was going to shoot anybody. And even the victim said, no, he never said he was going to shoot me. It was resolved by 2:30, 3 p.m. that day. Well, this is what districts need to understand. These kids are smarter than us, technologically savvy, right? They're faster than us. We cannot beat social media. So therefore, we have to get out ahead of things, right? So go about my business. That's resolved. No problems. Not knowing that kids are going to start spreading rumors on social media. I wake up the next morning to 70 messages, literally 70 messages in my inbox from concerned parents. Should I send my kid to school? Because I always make myself available.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I tell people, contact me. Now, don't contact me just because you're not happy with the results of something, but and that day, it forced me to have an increased presence in security. It forced me to change the way that we do things. And I can recall in that particular instance that I even said, and here's the thing, I can't be concerned about people's feelings. I called some of the parents irresponsible because instead of going to me or the authorities, they go to Facebook and they ask their questions. And when they ask their questions, then people start formulating opinions based upon incorrect information. And so, yes, I called some of the parents irresponsible, and I don't take that back because there's a way to handle things. But what I'm getting at is after that incident, I contacted both community web pages on Facebook, and I said, hey, listen, here's the deal. I want to be more transparent with you guys. This is the way that we should do this, right? It helps me alleviate headaches on the back end. So if you allow me to be an administrator to post things, I will keep the community informed, right? That's like our standard response protocols: a lockout, lockdown, shelter in place, hold, and evacuate. What are each one of those? What do they mean? We post that on our TCISD page. I post that on my personal page, and then I post it to both of those groups so that people were better informed. Last night, I posted our new emergency action plans, our digital app that came out yesterday, and then it will be in every classroom starting in about 4 weeks. But I just want people to understand what we're doing, right, so that they can feel safe. No parent should send their kid to school without having the peace of mind that we're doing absolutely everything we can to keep them safe.
Yeah, here's a comment right now. This is from Anthony. He said, I trust these two men with my children's lives. You just got to stay informed. You got to stay tuned in, and he's just thanking you guys for everything that y'all have done and implemented.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you,
I appreciate
Anthony.
it.
We appreciate that.
You mentioned something about an app, and so y'all are going to be utilizing technology. And I think I heard about. Well, I talked to the principal of Lamarck High School the other day. He was in studio with Miss Justina Earps, and they're doing some really cool things there as well. Mm-hmm. And they were like, "Well, we actually had a meeting this morning with you, I believe, and y'all were talking about some of the new technology that's being rolled out." So we touched on it a little bit.
Yeah, you want to talk about? I think they're talking about Share 911.
Oh, they're talking about Share 911 Live.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So one of the things that we talk about is the response side. You look at response to any crisis or any tragedy. We've just got to be a little bit more effective at doing that. And one of the things that we see is in a crisis event on a school campus, the teachers in a lockdown, they're in their defensive positions with their students, and they're waiting for communications. And we need a way to talk to them and know what's going on inside. Plus, the other thing you look at is most active shooter events last 3 to 5 minutes, right? Standard response for most law enforcement is about 3 to 5 minutes. Texas City has a greater response capability thanks to Lieutenant Brett Cooley, Sheriff Trosset, and the deputies of the Galveston County Sheriff's Department. Outstanding, working with those folks every day. We have a deputy on every campus. They're building relationships, and so they're being proactive with the students, but they're also there as a on-ground response capability, cutting our response time. But at the same time, we still need to, in an event it happens, lock down, shelter, evacuate. The idea is getting that mass message out in a short period of time, clear and concise to everyone in the building. And they've all been pre-trained according to the I Love You Guys, founded by John Michael Keyes. A standard, here's the message, here's what it should say, and here's your reaction once you receive those messages. Now we have a system that communicates over your mobile, it communicates over your desktop, it communicates over the PA. The students have a one-to-one device. If you're on any of our campuses, there will never be a doubt as to what is going on around you. If there's a crisis event, and you'll always know what the event is, you'll know what to do and how to seek shelter. I think, was it just last Friday night, we had an event near one of our campuses, or a possible event near one of our campuses. And we're always about erring on the side of caution, right? I would rather put you into a protective position that you didn't need to be in until I can figure out what's going on. First thing is protect you, and then I'm going to start figuring out what's going on around you. So we had an event that came on, and we ended up putting our campuses into a lockout. We actually had students outside on a soccer field, and we had one of our teachers. We just trained them that morning. Mike sent the tone out across district-wide, went across the cell phone. They were away from the building, but they got the tone, and she got the message, and she got those students out of the area where a current threat or a potential threat was existing and got them to cover. So can't say enough about it. Absolutely love that product.
And what's the difference between a lockout and a lockdown? Because I think I saw some information that came out about that, and y'all were like, well, people were even saying, like, there's a difference.
Yeah.
You're misinformed and you're spreading false information.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. And listen, I know that sometimes I can be kind of brash with people.
Does that get him in trouble?
Craig, it has.
I don't know if the trouble's the right word, but he's probably not going to win homecoming queen or
not this year,
or Mr. Popularity.
There's always next year. So
yeah.
TCISD, homecoming. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
No, here's the thing though, Gardy. I mean, if I'm feeding you information on what you need to know, I just please show me the respect to at least read it before you comment and spread incorrect information that causes me more headaches. And then don't get your feelings hurt when I correct you. It's part of being an adult is being responsible. And, I think that part of the issue that we see on a daily basis is the fact that our students reflect the behaviors of their parents, and therefore,
It's a reflection. Yeah.
we're gonna handle it, the way that we need to handle it. So, but getting back to the point about
Lockout, lockdown.
lockout and lockdown. So lockout means that there's something of danger on the exterior of the building. Everybody maintains business as usual on the inside, just nobody comes in or out, right? Lockdown means that the threat is on the inside of the building, and then we have specific protocol where teachers are supposed to follow and then seek refuge inside the building, their classroom or whatnot. So one of the things that we did, and our taxpayers need to know this, and I thank them for their generosity of passing this bond that's allowed us to implement a lot of these things, is, we're looking to be the school of 2030 as far as technology and security, with both of our backgrounds. And then we have a whole nother element. We've got Joe Bird and Dylan Goodwin, who really, they're the brains of the operation on the tech side. And I can't give them enough credit. But what we did is, I thought to myself here, how can we maximize on the ability for our students and staff to seek refuge, God forbid, let's say in an active shooter event? How practical is it for us to think that a teacher, as they're being possibly shot at, is going to have the dexterity in their hands to use a hard key to lock or unlock a door? So we put access controls on every classroom door in Texas City ISD. We also identified certain areas where we could utilize space. Like, let's say a mechanical room can fit 80 kids in there. I take someone who has no security background and I say, what is this room? And they say, well, it's a mechanical room. I say, no, it's a place I can fit 80 kids, right? And so we've identified certain areas throughout the buildings, and we've put these access controls on there. So now, and it's taken us since December to implement, but and they've probably seen all the ASAP security services trucks all around Texas City. But now we have the ability to lock an individual door, an entire campus, or the entire district with a push of a button. And there's not a lot of districts that have that. And so that's just one aspect of the bond that we spent, and some of the upgrades. We've got the facial recognition software, which is proven to work. One of the things when we chose the facial recognition software was I always look at potential risk down the road, like by having this software, what threats could come towards us, right? Well, there's this talk that facial recognition software is discriminatory. Well, it can be if you don't have the right software. If you have software that takes into consideration race, it can be. I specifically chose the software we have because it does not take into consideration race. It works solely off of biometrics and measurements of the face. Well, measurements of the face cannot really discriminate, right?
Yeah, it's looking at like the distance.
That distance
shapes
between your eyes and your nose
Yeah.
and your ears and your jawline. And so those are unique to that person. So that's another thing that we have. We talked about Share 911. That is the system that we use currently to notify everyone of an issue, whether it be an evacuate, shelter in place, hold, lockout, lockdown. A couple things happen when we initiate that is teacher pushes the button, boom. A lot of things happen at once. Every desktop in the entire campus takes over a green or a red screen with instructions and an audible sound that there's a lockdown, lockout, shelter in place, or hold. Integrates the PAs, which gives an audible. Like he said, the students have their one-to-one devices. We've also pushed the software out to that so that the students themselves will get the message on their laptops.
So one-to-one device. So every student has a device of some kind, a laptop or something.
Right, from 6th grade to 12th grade.
Okay.
And so they'll get the message there, and then it sends a text message and an email to all staff. So it's, we did that because, we're really smarter than what we look. And And I know some people will probably find that hard to believe,
The
but
comments are blowing up, and there's mixed. No, I'm just kidding.
so we did that because we look at past events, right? And we take data from those events. So if you look at Parkland, right? Parkland at the time was rated one of the safest schools in the United States or in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have an Amazon Prime account, there's a documentary called Parkland Building 12. Craig and I talk about it all the time. And having something like Share 911, which is a mass notification system, I am 100% certain that there would not have been any lives that perished on the third floor of that building. So it's called Parkland Building 12. I encourage people to watch it. It's kind of hard to watch, but what it does is it breaks down every minute. Okay, so shooter opens the door from a side door that's unsecured, comes in, starts on the first floor. He's there about 3 minutes and some change. I'm sorry, 2 minutes. 2 minutes and 29 seconds, I believe. He shoots and kills 11 people on the first floor. He never even breached the classroom doors. He shot everyone from the hallways as he was walking down the hallway through the classroom doors. Had they had something like Share 911 to disseminate that message that something was going on, and it may not be the initial person that shot, it's going to be someone else on that floor,
Right.
There would not have been any deaths on the third floor. So someone on the second floor hears the shooting on the first, and there was a very brave person that put the second floor into a lockdown, right? He's on the second floor for 51 seconds. He's even quoted by some of the teachers that they heard him say, I guess there's no one here, because they did exactly what they were supposed to do and went into lockdown. No deaths on the second floor. Moves to the third floor. He's on that floor for a little over 3 minutes and 5 seconds.
Wow.
6 shot and killed, and then 4 wounded. Third floor heard the shots from the first, but they did not go into lockout. They had a drill that morning. They were confused, but they had no means to communicate that there was a problem, right? So I'm certain that if they had something like this, there probably would not have been any deaths on the third floor. So, we've put the right tools in the right place, okay? Because here's one thing that I need you and I need everybody else at home to understand. I will never say that we can stop everything. It's impossible. If in human behavior and the Secret Service and the FBI have done many research-based or done research that shows that a determined person is going to carry out their attack, whether it's inside of a school or on the sidewalk or in the parking lot. There's nothing we can do about that. But what we can do to prevent it is to understand human behavior, understand the signs and symptoms of pre-attack behavior, and then once we identify those, we have to have solutions for that, okay? So there's a lot of stuff that we do even behind the scenes that people are not aware of that we do. Like on that side of the house, we have our P3 Campus Anonymous Reporting app. It's amazing. When I got here, we've had it since 2014. We weren't using it the way that it should have been used. I almost ditched them until I called the software developer and I said, hey, talk to me about this. This is what I want to see. Secret Service, in my experience, recommends that we have a multidisciplinary team either in the district or one at every campus. I see the value of having one at every campus. Why? Because who knows those students better than the people that work there? Mm-hmm. Our staff sometimes knows our students better than our parents do because we spend an abundance of time with them, right? So we have a 6-person team on every single campus. When those tips come in, a lot of people see it. Dr. Cavness and our executive team sees it. All of our mental health executives see it. Every one of our deputies sees it. Our entire security team sees it. Mainland Crime Stoppers, who's a great partner with us, and Galveston County Crime Stoppers see it, and then they can award or reward people for tips based upon whether they're valid or not.
And that's anonymous?
It is absolutely anonymous.
Can they do it from a cell phone, or how do they do it?
Do it from a
Absolutely
cell
from an
phone.
app.
You got it? You want to
I
show
think I
'em?
got my app
So-
here.
Yeah, and so we encourage parents and students to use it. We've seen a high influx of the use over the last year since we've built it out this way. Before I got there, you just reported it, and it went to a couple people. And so I built it out. I talked to the software developer, and I said, I want you to build this out where the person, let's say they go to Blocker Middle School. I want them to go to the app. I want them to see Blocker. I want them to click on Blocker, and then I want it to go to that threat assessment team on Blocker. Their eyes should be the first ones to see it along with the rest of us. And then what I'm getting at is once we identify that there's a problem there, it's not enough just to identify there's a problem. You got to have a solution.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a kid coming to tell you, I want to kill myself, and then you go, hey, just suck it up. You have to have solutions there. So that's why we have our mental health folks involved. That's why we have contracts in place like Resolve It, who helps us out, or Gulf Coast Centers, who's a tremendous partner with us, So it's not enough just to say, hey, we've identified this. We got to have real solutions,
Wow.
So
That having kids be able to use their own technology, that's what I was, because when I was talking to the Lamarck principal, I said, what's the role in cell phone? Just like, just asking questions. He's like, cell to cell or bell to bell, there is no cell.
Mhm.
And I saw there were some parents that were, kind of upset about that as well. But it can be a distraction. But if it's there and it's off, if there is a case where they need to report something anonymously, like or and here's the other thing: whenever it comes to anonymously reporting, there's like a culture, and this is all over the world. Like don't rat,
snitch, yeah.
don't
No,
be a
the-
snitch, don't be a rat.
The concept is snitches get stitches and end up in ditches. Now there
Right.
becomes a difference between, hey, Bobby had too many desserts, things like that. But it's one of those where if it could affect life or limb of someone, that's not a snitch. That's
Being a hero.
that's being
Yeah.
a hero.
Saving
That's doing
lives.
the right thing. And I can understand some people's unwillingness to come forward or their apprehension to come forward because no one likes the guy that told on the guy that had the gun right later, or you're worried that guy's going to come back and get you. So that's why a lot of those apps are absolutely anonymous. And so let me go back and talk about Mike. And one of the things that you hear in Mike and a lot of people don't understand, and it's a passion, right? And it's that same passion shared throughout this entire team. I mean, from Lieutenant Coley to Mike to Joe to Dylan. I mean, the same passion you hear in his voice right now on the radio is the same passion I hear in his voice at 4:30 in the morning when he's got a concern on his mind. It's the same passion I hear on Saturday morning at 7:30 when he's out having coffee on his deck and he's going, hey, Craig, did we do this or did we do that? It's the same passion you hear when I can't think of the number of saves you've got this year over
A
this year
lot.
over the P3 campus.
A ton.
There was a recent event where a student was threatening to take her life, and Mike is that kind of guy. We get the call, and he's like, "Hey, I've got the call. I've got the county on the way. We've got mental health on the way. I'm going to go on the scene. I'm going to talk to the parents." One of the other things you'll see about us is technologically leading. The cell phone that I'm holding in my hand is from FirstNet. It's a first responder cell phone. So when you have any type of crisis, I'm guaranteed a signal based upon the SIM card that works in here. We're the first in the nation. This is a new national level thing that AT&T has taken on. We're the first school district in the nation that is doing things like that. So we're very preemptive. We're very reactive. We're very engaging. We've increased the presence inside of our campuses by adding campus safety monitors that just go around through the campus and make sure the doors are not left open. Make sure students are in the right class. Make sure people who are on our campuses that if they have a visitor badge, they're in the right area where they're supposed to be. So we're doing a lot of things. We're looking at programs like Watchdogs. We're looking at getting parents to come in and be able to be a part of the camp. We look at it as what affects one of us affects all of us.
Yeah.
We need the whole community perspective. From it take two principles we operate off of is it takes a village to raise a child, right? That goes to the parents, the teachers, the administrators, and everybody. The other thing we look at it is if we're going to go far, we got to go together. Mike and I, unfortunately, most people see us when things are going wrong,
Yeah.
or they hear that thunder in his voice. But don't by no means do I want you to misconstrue that as being anger or being a bitter or being an abrasive guy. This is just a guy that really, really cares about it. And one of the things he won't tell you humbly is he left the Secret Service early to come home and be with his family, and he came back to his community to protect his community. and gave up a pretty good portion of his retirement
Yeah.
to come back here. So, this guy, he's not in it for the money. He's not in it, even though he slipped and said constituents, he's not in it for the popular vote. He is really in it to win it. He's really committed to the process. So that's what you're really hearing, and you're looking at somebody who's saying enough. 30 years has been long enough. And to the point where his kids are also in that district, right? So he's totally invested in this process. So that's one of the things that I really, he even underneath all that grumble, he's humble. He won't say those kind of things. So I'm going to say those things about him.
All right.
Well, I appreciate it.
Hey, here's a comment, and it said, ask about AnyVision. What's AnyVision?
AnyVision is the facial recognition software.
So as far as that goes, what is that going to be used for? Like access to certain rooms?
Yeah,
or?
so we already use it. It's been 100% functional and operational since May. Our first rollout, we had 100% success rate. We rolled it out. I think that there was some people that we rolled it out at graduation. Okay, we have a very comprehensive plan. Even our local law enforcement responders and our brothers and sisters in blue, who are our partners and our stakeholders with Texas City PD, Lamarck, Galveston County Sheriffs, and Texas Department of Public Safety. I think, after our briefing at the graduation, they even said, God, man, I haven't had a briefing that thorough in 15 years. We don't even brief that thorough for hurricanes, is somewhat what someone said, and that's just who we are. That is the level that you're going to get with us, right? We just want to make sure everybody knows what their responsibility is, what everybody's capabilities are, so that in the event we have a crisis, we know what we're doing, right? And
Yes.
so let me get back to AnyVision.
Okay, yes.
I'm sorry, I got off track. And so I was talking about graduation. We rolled it out at graduation, and that briefing led to that. And so we deployed. So we have 4 gates on the north side of Stingray Stadium, and we decided, and I learned this tactic from the Secret Service, you want to keep your press, protectee, and public separate, but you want to filter and control ingress and egress of those people so that you can monitor them, right? Well, people probably had no idea, but we're monitoring as people are coming in, right? So we've got the facial recognition software up on the gates. We decided that gates 2 and 3 on the north side, and then gate 5 on the east side would be the gates that we allow public to enter from. Well, as they're entering, we're looking for specific people. People are under this impression that that we can identify you just based upon your appearance alone. No, we have to have information on who you are and be looking for you, right? So we build out a database, which we call a do not admit list, right? Who are those people? That's the question, right? Well, if you have a student in Texas City ISD that is at the alternative school, which is DAEP, or let's say the county CAP program, right? They're not allowed on Texas City ISD property until they're released from those programs. So every DAEP student and every CAP kid is in the database. We take maybe wanted people in the county. We take sex offenders within a certain radius of our school that are not allowed to be around children, and we enter those people in the do not admit list. Why anybody would have a problem with that, I don't know. It's not only for the student safety, but it's for the safety of the spectators as well. If we have a parent that's, let's say, come in and gotten belligerent and been given a criminal trespass warning, which we've had some of those, they're in the list. They're on the list also. And so we just want to know if any people that could potentially not only cause harm, but cause a disturbance. We want to know if they're coming to our campus, and it will identify them.
I've always wondered, because I've seen people at like professional games where they've been banned. Something happened. It's like, you've been banned. Like, how are they ever going to find this person? It seats 100,000 people in this stadium. And I'm guessing, and that makes sense, why not use facial recognition software? So it's looking at certain gates where there's probably people on the list, and you
so
can do
if we
that.
can control the gate, and they have to filter through these gates, we're monitoring who's coming in. And so to get to the point, the AnyVision software allows us to do that. It's biometrics only, does not take into consideration race. We had a student. It was the first day. I just told Craig when we were there. I said, I just want to get one confirmation.
Make sure it works.
Just to make sure that we got our money's worth. And sure enough, we had a student from CAP enter, and we were able to stop him and escort him out. Mom was mad. I understand, but mom knows the rules. Kid knows the rules. You know, it is what it is. You know, of course, here's the deal. Grandma's there also. She pulls me aside and said, I told him not to come. And I said, this is the wrong place to try to pull that.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's simplify it down a little bit too. One of the things with it is you know, if you got an iPhone or you've got a Samsung, facial recognition. Most people are still opening their phones up to do that. Here's an even crazier thing is if you go to Universal Studios or you go to Disney World and you get that Fast Pass, did you know they're using biometrics? So when you walk by a certain camera, it says, hey, Craig, you wanted to ride the Tilty Whirly. It sees my face on camera. It goes, if you go over, the wait in the line is now 3 minutes. So Disney's using it, right? You
Yeah.
know, one of the things that I drive home is, you know, two of the most vulnerable places for violence has been lately. We're seeing the escalation has been our churches and our schools because those are gun-free zones, right? So why is someone who wants to do harm, that's where they're going to go. So why should those areas, you know, our churches and our schools where we go to worship and come together as a community, and our schools where we also come together as a community and build and learn and grow, why should they have a lesser standard of security than, say, Disney World or NRG or the Rocket Stadium or, you know, the Astrodome? Hey, go Astros, right? So why should we have less?
Yeah, I agree. You know, there was a former Secret Service agent, I believe it was 2 years ago, we held an event here and invited the community, and it was specifically for like businesses, nonprofits, churches, and it was a seminar. And since then, we started funneling in everybody through one entrance in the front. Everything else is locked. Even like right now, there's only one door that's open to this entire building, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And we have people that, you know, that check it, you know, in the morning periodically.
So one of the things you see as we start doing school security is people confuse convenience with security. We're never going to violate your civil rights or your liberties. You're guaranteed given rights under the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. We may inconvenience you versus going through a door you used to go through 3 years ago. You may have to go through one controlled entrance. All I can say is congratulations, 5,000 more steps on your Fitbit. But for the safety of those at large in the building, we ask you to work with us. We promise you, while it may be an inconvenience, you'll find yourself being a lot safer.
Yeah. What would you say maybe some of the biggest misconceptions about what y'all have done and changed? I'm sure y'all hear a lot.
Made the school feel like a prison.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one we hear.
Is that from students or from parents or
This
both?
is from people who've never come visited the campus.
Yeah. So I have an article that honestly I'm pretty proud of, but I think that there's some people that are not necessarily of the same understanding that I have on the political spectrum that feel like it does feel like a prison. I had the Texas Observer article that came out several months ago after I testified at the Senate, one of the Senate panels on school violence. And here's the thing. You don't ever really have to guess what I'm thinking. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. And sometimes that's hard for people to understand. And so I opened up my testimony with the wolf is in the hen house. And I think that, by the reaction of some of the politicians who are part of the problem, because they act like they know what's going on and they haven't stepped foot inside of a school to understand. And I think that's part of the problem with politicians is they want to sit back and legislate people without actually experiencing what people go through. And so I started out the conversation and I told them I just wanted them to hear what I had to say, and then we would discuss it. And I was going to start the conversation with something that I got to give Craig credit for, because he had said it the night before. And I said, you know what, man, I'm going to say that tomorrow. And he's like, you're not going to say that. I was like, yes, I am.
That was supposed to be closed door attention stuff.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He hit the nail on the head. And so the article is titled, "The Wolf is in the Hen House." And so here's what I know is some politicians and even people on the opposite political spectrum is I felt like that was insensitive. It's not insensitive. It's true, and it's facts, and it's based on statistics. When you look at school shootings or mass violence attacks, 99% of the time, it's someone from the inside. Well, we're a school. How many attacks have happened at a school where it was an outsider?
Yeah, it's not too often, I guess.
One.
And
that was Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
Okay, but that kid still had a connection to that school. How many of the attackers inside of schools are students? Almost every single one of them. So is the wolf in the henhouse? Yes. And so it sounds insensitive, but it's mostly to get your attention. And I'm not, listen, people have the ability to carry out violence, whether they're a student or whether they're a parent. I'm trying to get people's attention and to wake up that we are missing a very crucial point here. Is our society has changed. Our kids have changed. They are exposed to way more things than I ever was at their age. We have pushed back the expectation of not only kids, but some parents. And so, people say, you've made the school feel like a prison. Well, and they've never come and even looked at our school. The Texas Observer article, to kind of round back around, the reporter came out and I think he had this perception that this is going to look like a prison. We get inside and he's like, wow, this looks like a normal school. It's like, it's what you don't see. The Secret Service taught me well. Security can be done at a very high level and you don't know it's there.
And that's the goal, I assume. Right?
That's the absolute goal. That's always my intention, is to be less restrictive, but be able to handle business when we need to.
And speaking of goals, the parents, the students, the city, the ISD, security, everybody wants the same thing. The kids to come in, learn, safe, go home, no incidents, prevent incidents. And it's just a matter of, I guess, just like y'all explaining and being open is step one. And, you've been doing it. Absolutely, man. And, what I would encourage districts to do is to hold their staff accountable. Also, I can tell you, and I didn't really want to open up this can of worms, but some of the biggest struggles that we have is getting our own staff. And we've got great staff. Don't get me wrong, and they're coming around. But I see that our exigency and urgency and passion is not always understood by some of our staff. And it's something as simple as having good situational awareness. You should have that in your life. It doesn't have to necessarily apply just to work and at school. When you're walking to your car late at night from Baybrook Mall, shouldn't you have your head out of your phone and your head on a swivel looking to see if there's anybody approaching you? Mm-hmm. Why is that any different than in a school? When you walk into a school, you don't even have to stop. There should be no delay. You should be able to hear whether that door closed behind you. And if it didn't, just step back and pull it closed. It's something as simple as that. Paying attention, being attentive, situational awareness. And if we can start with our staff with things like that, or enforcing, small rules that could lead into bigger things. And I'm not picking on Santa Fe at all. Okay. It's just a fact. What was the student wearing that day? What's everybody say he was wearing? I guess something to be able to hide a
trench coat, right? Yeah. It's 95 degrees, 100 degrees outside. Is it unreasonable to think that there's something wrong with that?
Yeah, and I remember being a kid and there was a dress code and everybody complained about, I don't want to tuck my shirt in. I can't wear a hoodie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's reasons behind that. And sometimes I feel like staff maybe forgets, hey, what the reason is. Everybody looks at, there's lots of reasons. And I feel like safety is definitely probably the most important.
Yeah, I mean, we have trust me, there's things that we have in place that I don't agree with, that I think are kind of silly. Like student hair color. I don't care what color their hair is or if they even have hair. It doesn't matter to me. As long as they're sitting in a chair, learning and getting an education and behaving, I don't care what color your hair is. The rips in the jeans, who cares? That's just my personal opinion, but I don't make those rules. Everybody thinks that's my rule. I get blamed for a lot, but that is not my rule. That's a board rule. I think that if we started focusing on things that really mattered and not hair color or rips in jeans. Now, I'm not saying we need to have rips in areas that are, going to disclose body parts and whatnot, but it's got to be reasonable. That's when we start allowing kids to have a little bit of freedom and not dictate to them what color their hair is or how many rips are in their jeans. That's when they're going to start focusing on their grades. I think that sometimes we as adults kind of self-inflict some of this stuff, and hopefully I get some brownie points with the kids, but that's just how I feel, Yeah. A lot of people don't know that I feel that way. They just see me as, like he said, I'm angry. Now, I'm not angry. I'm passionate, but I'm also reasonable, and I know that. Here's the thing. This is some of the problems that I have with school. Is why are we? I understand that school's supposed to be an educational environment and restorative. I believe in restorative justice and giving kids chances because they're kids. But what I don't agree with is some of the things that we do where we give chance after chance after chance, or if a law's broken, we want to kind of turn the other way and say, I don't see that. Here's the thing. Equally as important as it is for us to educate these kids and for them to get a diploma, it is also our moral obligation to prepare them for life, right? So what I'm getting at is if we allow them in school to get away with things that they normally would not get away with on the sidewalk, we are setting them up for failure. And so the same standard has to be across the board. It teaches them personal responsibility and what society is going to expect from them. Wow. And so we've got to get away from this having separate rules inside of school.
Okay. So we're about out of time. I have 2 questions left.
Okay.
One of them is, have you had other school districts, other, security for organizations, do they reach out to you, and are you willing to help them?
Every day.
I took a phone call this morning from one over near Pearland. I'll leave them unnamed right now, but yeah, we've had several folks who come over and train. Yeah, every day.
How does that? I mean, that's a good thing, right? You're open to that as well.
It's a good thing, but here's what I need people to understand is that if they want to change the way that we've changed, if they want our style of security, it's got to start with administration. You've got administrators and superintendents and board members that have this philosophy that if you have a very proactive security plan, it sends the message that you have a problem. That is not the case. Let me ask you this. When you go buy a house, what's the first thing you look at if you've got small children?
Yeah, you look at the neighborhood,
the
streets,
schools.
Yeah, schools.
Right? I think that they have this perception that if you have an abundant or a very robust security plan that you may have a problem. That's the wrong thing you should look at. As a parent, I'm going to look at, hey, how's the security at the school along with the grades? I'd rather take a B campus that has an A rating in security than an A rating in education and an F in security, So I think that's the holdup with what we got going on is it's the way that superintendents and board members perceive things, and we've got to start holding them accountable. There's no teeth, there's no legislation that holds them accountable. Senate Bill 11, praise God for Senator Taylor finally understanding that we need some change, but even then, there's still not any teeth there. There needs to be some accountability. If we have an incident and a superintendent, it's been proven that they didn't take the necessary steps, somebody needs to be held accountable.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Second question.
My other question is there anything else you would like to share at all?
Other than the fact that I'm honored to be here, we love, I love Texas City, Lamar, Galveston County. This is my home. It's a pleasure to be back home. I just ask for parents to be patient. And, my plea to them is that if you have a complaint, handle it appropriately, because we won't tolerate you coming up to the school and cursing out our staff. It's not going to happen.
Get on that Activision.
But, there's a way to handle things. That's really the last thing. And you asked about us helping other districts or corporations. We did actually form our own company, and so we're not planning on leaving Texas City ISD. We're just gonna, we feel that there's a need to help others. So yeah, we did form our own company.
What's it called?
M6 Global Defense.
M6
We have
Global
6
Defense.
partners.
You're almost obligated to be able to help. You'll have this information. You've prove that it's working, that it works. And so you're almost like obligated to be like, it's your moral responsibility to be able to spread this information.
I know that was a little shameless plug, but I apologize. I just had to get that in there.
Yeah, of course.
At the end of the day, it's a changing of hearts and minds. It's a changing of culture. 30 years of school shooting, we're not in violence, and we see it spilling out of the schools, Walmart, on the streets in Dayton. Right now, while we have this break and we have this chance to regroup and recover, we've been doing the same thing for the last 30 years. What we've seen from those who would come in and do violence is the violence is escalating and the death tolls and the woundeds are increasing. Let's try something different. Let's just try a different approach. What we're doing right now, we're finding it doesn't work. Give us a chance. Try something different. I know it's new. I know it's scary. You look at, we're doing what less than 1% to 2% of the schools in the nation are doing. And that's because of our leadership and this team that's gotten here that has that passion for it. We want to be a part of the solution. We don't want to be the problem. We want to get back to a new normal where kids can come to school and not worry about anything. They can actually focus on something, get an education, and have great memories in their high school years.
Yeah. My last plea real quick would be, to all the parents that are listening, we want to start a parent-led volunteer program where we can look out on, any given day and see 10 volunteers out there. Get involved. We want to have you guys part of our team. We want you to be our extra set of eyes and ears. We're really overwhelmed, honestly, with a lot of things, and that is something that I've wanted to do for the last year, but we just haven't been able to get it together. So, if someone wants to step up and be the leader of that and work with us side by side to take some of the pressure off of us, that's what we want. We really want an army of parents that are involved. So that would be my plea to our community: is someone call me who wants to take on this challenge.
Remember, it's an army, not a militia, so you still got to work with us.
That's true. That is true.
All right.
So,
hey, thank you for hanging out and joining today.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
it.
I
Thanks-
enjoyed it.
thanks
Anytime,
again.
man.
Yeah, anytime.
If somebody has questions, I'm sure they can reach out directly, even on Facebook or on this video, and I can almost promise you that you will answer, because that's kind of what you do. Yeah. We want Craig.
I'll get
Craig's
overwhelmed.
answer.
Just be patient with me. I may not be able to respond to
Immediately,
a 1,000 inquiries. So
All right. Hey, this has been Kickstart's KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. It's 11:07. Go do something positive today. Be blessed. Christian School.
awesome.
Thanks.
That's awesome,
That was
man.
awesome.